Hello everybody, how's it going? Today we're covering the WOW signal. So let's begin. So it all goes back to August 15th, 1977 at the Ohio State University Radio Observatory. At the time it was being used by the Ohio State University to search for extraterrestrial life, as it used big satellites to pick up radio frequencies from space, which earned the nickname of the Big Ear, as the big satellites that as the big dishes that were being used, the antennas that were picked up any sort of signals coming in from space. As of course, the best way to contact somebody from another planet would be to send out a radio signal across space. As of course, flying there would be really inefficient. It'd take years, you know. And so the best way would just be sending it the message out through space. So that's why they had the big dishes, big satellite dishes there. Now on that day, it picked up a signal, and this signal was a wow signal. The reason why it was so impressive, they got the name wow because it was extremely intense, a very high frequency, intense radio signal that had never been heard before and had never been heard since. At the time, there was no actual recording. They didn't actually record what it was, but they did print out the results of how intense the frequency was. Normally, it was just ones and twos. That was just normal, everyday, space, nothing. But this was an extremely intense radio signal and got printed out as 6EQUJ5. And it was discovered a few days later by a man known as Jerry R. Edmond, as he had been volunteering there, and as he was going through over some of the data, he saw this and he circled it in a red pen and he wrote the words "wow" with an exclamation point, as a radio signal like this had just never been heard before. Now, no, ever since then, nothing. Nothing like that has ever been found. The rest of the time, just regular old space dead air. Now, there's been many explanations over the course of many decades trying to figure out what it was. Some explanations are chalked to a very natural phenomenon, that was a fluke. That's why I haven't heard anything like that, because it's one of those rare flukes that happened, and we just happened to be around and pick it up. Well, others say it was an attempt by extraterrestrials to contact us. Now, if it was an attempt by extraterrestrials to contact us, why did they do it again? Why did they try a second time? Had they not heard of the term third time's a charm? I mean, if you were trying to send it out, you would have tried again, wouldn't you? If you were an alien trying to contact another planet. I mean, we sent out two Voyagers. We just sent out one Voyager. We sent out a second Voyager. And, so why did they send it again? And, of course, we don't exactly know which one is the truth, We don't know. And we also don't know exactly where it came from. We have guesses of where it could possibly came from, and estimates, but we don't know exactly where it came from either in the galaxy. The galaxy is very, very, very big, so no exact pinpoint where it could have possibly come from. And but the people who like to believe in aliens think that this is good evidence that there are extraterrestrials out there, because it is a very powerful signal. But also, a lot of things happen out of the galaxy, and a lot of strange things happen in nature. All sorts of things happen out there. So it's not exactly impossible that there could have been a big old fluke that caused your radio signal like that, just like that. They got picked up as a radio signal. And now, of course, over the many years, and of course, so as I was saying, it's been used many times to try to explain extraterrestrial phenomenon, to say that this is good evidence. When, of course, as it is one of our strongest pieces of evidence, as the normal extraterrestrial encounters, UFO sightings can easily be explained as either hoaxes or misidentifications. The Roswell incident, of course, was just simply part of Project Mogul. And many other instances are just outright hoaxes or misidentifications of airplanes and various other things. And of course, alien abductions could often be easily explained as sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is the most common explanation for things such as alien abductions and people seeing the alleged quote unquote Hat Man, which is often used to explain what exactly that was. What people are seeing as when you're in sleep paralysis, you can't move, and due to things going on in your brain, you oftentimes see weird, strange things, and that could easily be mistaken as that, or your nightmares. So some stuff like that. That's not easily explainable. That's easily explainable. That could easily be hoaxes, lies, misidentifications. But the wow signal, that's very good firm evidence. We picked up a very strong, intense signal from outer space, a signal that is not normal, that is not normal. We don't pick it, never been picked up one again, never been picked up after before. That's not your regular dead air space. Of course, an argument can be made that if it was, why didn't it happen again? I mean, it is strange it didn't happen again. But maybe it happened before. We didn't pick it up. You ever think about that, really? I mean, that is a possibility. They could have sent it out beforehand, or maybe the vastness of space, it just took so long that it took for a very long time to get there. Maybe they have sent out another one. It's taking them forever for it to reach us. Maybe next 10, 20 years, we'll get another wow signal. And because space is very vast, it's very large. It took almost like 10 days for us to get to the moon. I think probably here and back, it took just about 10 days. It takes a very long time to travel across the galaxy. And so it is very possible that maybe that's why. Maybe it took maybe they did send out beforehand, but since they never got back because we weren't doing it beforehand, and since back then when we actually received a wow signal, we couldn't have responded back if we had known exactly where it was coming from or who sent it, what they said, and maybe this was their first time. Like I said, maybe they are trying again. It just can't be sent out because it just hasn't reached us yet. We're talking about the place as vast, big as the galaxy, which stretches out for billions upon billions of miles. It would make sense that things would take forever to get there, and maybe tomorrow there'll be another wow signal. Maybe it might be the day after that, the day after tomorrow, because I mean it would realistically take a very very long time for it to get there. Anyways, that's all I gotta say. Bye, have a nice time.